kọjú sóríta mẹ́rin èkejì kọjú sọ́pọ̀pọ̀ oyè ọ̀sà ńbàdàn kìnìún méjèèjì pèrègùn bíkúnlé ni wọ́n ń sọ ọlátúbọ̀sún dìde ó bọ́sòkòtò ìdí ó bọ́sòkòtò òró gangan làbọ̀sù àwo dìde ó bọ́sòkòtò Wàsíù Àjàní Adéwálé ọlátúbọ̀sún ọmọ ìyá alágbo happy birthday to you.
ọlọ́jọ́ ti ẹni ẹ̀ á ṣe púpọ̀ ẹ̀sọ́ máa tó ìlọ́ọ̀dì wá.
ọpẹ́ ló yẹ ẹrú ó dá.
Our listeners, you're welcome to your darling station, Aloore Radio. And we have a darling program for you today. That is the newspaper review, transmitting from GSM studio at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, Secretariat, Agodi, Ibadan. I am Olukemi Omotosho. With me is...
I'm Temitope Jawo. We also use this medium to congratulate our boss, the Honorable Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Dr. Wasiu Olatuboso. We wish you many happy returns of this special day. Congratulations, boss.
Yes, congratulations to you, our darling boss. You can log on to our Facebook on www.facebook.aloore radio. Our YouTube is Aloore Radio. Our website is www.alooreradio.com. Mobile apps available on Play Store. I have with me the Nigerian Tribune. What do you have, Tope?
Our Punch newspaper this morning.
The first story I have on the Tribune newspaper is I will contest. I have told Buhari, Tinubu.
And the leading story at the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning reads, Omaize films alleges injustice as Tinubu declared presidential build.
High cost of food. Most farmers now in IDP camps can't go to farms. Stakeholders.
Devalue currency further. Raise interest rate. IMF tells Nigeria others.
ECOWAS countries to shut borders against Mali. With a rider recall, ambassador reject junta's transition schedule.
And EFCC rearrest Monfa over alleged 32.9 billion naira money laundering.
Edwin Clark faults Buhari's rejection of state police, says both FG states guilty of abuse, insists on restructuring.
Discuss indebtedness hit 326 billion naira in 9 months, says federal government.
Enugu turns bloody, 5 killed, vehicle raised, commuters stranded.
Internet subscriber fall by 11 million over NIN same linkage, others.
2021 UTME, fate of over 600,000 eligible candidates hangs.
Power generation drops as Vanda grant 504 NWO plants.
Families now have say on how deported Ogun Obas will be buried.
Parliamentary workers picket in National Assembly, protest on paid salaries allowances.
Wike declares 19 wanted over illegal bunkering.
APC picked January 27th for Ekiti governorship primary.
DSS did not invite Kuka, Sokoto diocese.
Can Council rubbish zoning begin consultation on 2023 presidential build.
And I have another story that says EFCC recovered 152 billion naira, that's $386 million and 1.182 million euro in 2021.
FRSA begin enforcement of speed limiter, arrest 7 motorists.
FAAN arrests over 90 touts at Lagos Abuja airports.
Army arrest soldiers for alleged assault on oil traffic wardens.
I plan to kidnap my boss to raise 1.5 million for Christmas, sales boy.
Suspected cultist style Lagos casino attendant harm, stab victim to death.
And with that, we'll go on a short break to be back for the details of the newspaper.
Please stay tuned.
ọgbà tí àṣejìná lòdì ìrànjẹ́ làwọn aláṣẹ ìjókòtì tí wọ́n fẹ́ máa jẹ ọba ni wọ́n ṣe gàyà díẹ̀ ná ìlú ló láṣẹ ẹjẹ́ ìlú ó jẹun náà ìdí nìyí tó fi jẹ́ pé ẹ̀tọ́ ìlú là ń fowó ìlú ṣe nípìnlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀rí bí ní ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wa ṣe ń jògeere LAUTECH ti di tìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé bíi 40 ló ti wẹ̀wù ọ̀tún pẹ̀lú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tòun tòògùn àti irinṣẹ́ tó pójú owó iṣẹ́ sì ti fẹ́ẹ̀ parí pẹ̀lú lórí 100 míì jákèjádò ìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ ààbò tó dájú òun ohun amáyédẹrùn ní ìṣokùnfà ìdásílẹ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá láwùjọ òun náà nípínlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ fi wà nípò kẹta nínú àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí ń pawó wọlé jùlọ lábẹ́lé nílẹ̀ wa ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀dọ́ ló ti láǹfààní ẹ̀kọ́ṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ lọ́nà ti gbàlódé táṣeyọrí yìí ó sì jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ sùn wá bọ̀ láìpẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbowó wọn lásìkò pápá àṣírí adámàsìngbà àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán kọ́ àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọ rírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ ọgbẹ.
iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
You're welcome back to your darling station and your favorite program, Newspaper Review. After the short break, we are kicking to start the details of today's Newspaper Review. The leading story with me shall be found on page 2 of the Punch newspaper with the headline on High-Razor Films alleges injustice as Tinubu declares presidential build. The national leader of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Tinubu, says he has informed the president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired of his decision to run for the office of president in year 2023. Tinubu revealed this to State House correspondent on Monday after a private meeting with Buhari at the presidential villa, Abuja. However, the APC leader said he had yet to publicly disclose his ambition as he was still in consultation with various interest groups across the country. Tinubu's meeting with the president came days after Buhari declared in a televised interview that he will not divulge his favorites for the APC 2023 presidential ticket. Asked if he had officially informed Buhari about his ambition to run, the APC leader said, and I quote, "I answered that with a categorical yes. I have informed the president of my intention, but I have not informed the Nigerian yet. I'm still consulting, and I have no problem consulting, and I'm not set a parameter of limitations to the extent of how many people I will consult." You can get the rest of the story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper.
The first story I have with me on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper today is found on page 2, and it says 2023 presidency. I have told Buhari I will contest. Tinubu, with a rider, declines comments on Oshibajo's ambition, wants President Nas to review Electoral Act Amendment Bill, assures on APC convention. Former Lagos State Governor Senator Bola Tinubu has informed President Muhammadu Buhari. Senator Bola Tinubu has informed President Muhammadu Buhari of his intention to vie for the presidential ticket of the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC). The party chieftain met with the president on Monday at the presidential villa, after which he told correspondents that he would definitely contest for the 2023 presidency. He refused to be drawn into the question of a potential race for the APC ticket between him and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, whose support groups have been mobilizing for his candidacy. Tinubu asserted that his ambition to be president of Nigeria has been a lifelong ambition, noting that with what he did in Lagos in his time as governor, he has the capacity to rule Nigeria. On Osinbajo's potential ambition, the APC leader maintained that he would not discourage any individual on whether he has told the president about his ambition. He said, "I answered that with categorical yes. I have informed the president of my intention, but I have not informed Nigerians yet. I am still consulting, and I have no problem consulting. I have set a parameter of limitation to the extent of how many people I will consult." For the rest of the story, turn to page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. 2023 presidency. I have told Buhari I will contest. Tinubu.
And on page 4 of the Punch newspaper, FRSA begin enforcement of speed limiter, arrest 7 motorists. The Federal Road Safety Corps, Osun State, on Monday said it commenced enforcement of the use of speed limiter, especially by commercial vehicles. The command also said 7 commercial vehicles were impounded for non-compliance with the use of devices in the state. The sector command, Paul Okupe, in a statement in Osogbo, stated that the enforcement was to reduce road crashes. Okupe, who called on motorists to approach accredited vendors and install the devices in the vehicles, added that enforcement will continue. He said, and I quote, the Osun Sector Command will go tough on commercial vehicle without the speed limiting devices. He further says that we impounded 7 vehicles for violation of the speed limited device. The total number of vehicles checked between December 29, 2021 and January is 1,222. 7 vehicles out of those ones checked have installed devices. We're embarking on serious enforcement of the speed limited devices to reduce. End of quote. Get the rest of the story on page 4 of the Punch newspaper.
Also on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune, Clark faults Buhari's rejection of state police, with a rider says both federal government states guilty of abuse. Leader of Southern Nigeria and Middle Belt Leaders Forum (SMBLF) and former Federal Commissioner of Information Chief Edwin Clark has criticized President Muhammadu Buhari over his rejection of state police, saying that the reasons advanced is not tenable. In a statement made available to the media on Monday, the foremost Ijaw nationalist observed that while the president is right on the potential abuse of the security apparatus by the state government, the federal government is also guilty of prosecuting political opponents with federal police. He said, and I quote, Mr. President dismissed the call for state police in the country. He said that state police was not an option, that governors will misuse it. He gave an unrelated instance of the relationship between state governors and local government, that there is no functional local government in the country. While Mr. President is right that no local government in the country truly functions as provided by the Constitution, not even the joint accounts under which state governments receive monies on behalf of the local government, because the accounts are fully controlled by the state governor. It is not enough to dismiss the demand for a state police. End of quote. For the rest of that story, turn to page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Clark faults Buhari's rejection of state police.
And on page 8 of the Punch newspaper, Ojo will give Shaun a befitting burial. Makinde. The Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde on Monday paid a condolence visit to the family of the late Shaun of Ogbomosoland, Obaladunni Oyewumi. The monarch died on December 12, 2021 at the age of 95 and was buried the same day. His first daughter, Professor Taibati Damole, also died on Sunday at the age of 71. According to a statement by the governor's chief press secretary, Taiwo Adisa, the governor announced during his condolence visit to the family that Oboyewumi will be given a befitting funeral by the state government. The governor said the monarch left a good legacy and did well for the town and the state in general. He said the purpose of visiting this morning is to officially condole with the family. I want to say that Baba, as old as he was, left a good legacy and did wonderfully well for the development of not only Ogbomoso but Oyo State at large. He also said further, I like Baba because he wouldn't hide his feeling. He spoke true to power. So we will miss Baba for those qualities. He said further, those who don't want unity and progress for our state have been saying a lot of negative things since Baba joined his ancestor. Some said I did not come to condole with the family because I don't like the people of Ogbomosoland. The truth is that all those people making those comments don't know how close I am to the palace and to Mama Aloore Ibirunke. You can read further on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. Ojo will give Shaun a befitting burial. Makinde.
The same story is found on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. Makinde condoles with Shaun family, announces state burial. If you are interested in that story, turn to page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. On page 7, I have the story that says, Wike declares 19 persons wanted over illegal bunkering. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike Sunday evening declared 19 persons wanted for operating illegal crude oil refinery sites responsible for the soot pollution in the state. The move is seen as a first concrete step by the state government towards ending the prevailing soot pollution, which has been raising serious health concerns in the state. The governor directed the Rivers State Head of Service to query one Mr. Temple Amakiri, a director in the Ministry of Energy, for aiding and abating bunkering activities and hand him over to the police for investigation and possible prosecution. In a statewide broadcast on Sunday, Wike said the government has resolved to pragmatically tackle the soot pandemic by destroying and closing down all identified illegal crude oil refinery sites and activities in the state. He stated that following his 2022 New Year message outlined measures to tackle the soot manias, the state task force on illegal street trading raided some illegal crude oil refinery sites in Port Harcourt and arrested a number of recalcitrant persons. For the rest of that story, turn to page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. Wike declares 17 persons wanted over illegal bunkering.
And on page 9 of the Punch newspaper, Olubadan, kingmakers meet to ratify Lake of Balogun at Bekoya Leader Rights Ladoja. Members of the Olubadan in Council are expected to hold a meeting on Tuesday, that is today, where they will ratify the Otun Olubadan of the Ibadan land, Senator Lake of Balogun, as the new Olubadan. The Otun Olubadan confirmed this to the correspondent on the telephone on Monday, but he said he could not say if he would be in attendance. He said the Commissioner for Local Governments and Chieftaincy Affairs might be in attendance, adding that the outcome would be communicated to the governor through the commissioner. He said, and I quote, "Kingmakers will meet tomorrow. I'm not sure the governor will be there. The Commissioner for Chieftaincy Affairs may be in attendance. For the court, I cannot say if I will attend or not, but I should be able to say that tomorrow morning." 10 members of the Olubadan Council that last Wednesday unanimously agreed that Balogun is the next Olubadan. The Otun Balogun of Ibadan land, Obatajuddin Ajibola, has said on Sunday that the Tuesday meeting will ratify the choice of Balogun as the new Olubadan of Ibadan land. You can read further on page 9 of the Punch newspaper. Olubadan, kingmakers meet to ratify Lake of Balogun at Bekoya Leaders Right Ladoja.
On page 13 of the Nigerian Tribune, high cost of food. Most farmers now in IDPs can't go to farms. A commercial maize farmer in Benue State, Tarango Varilaris, has said that insecurities is fueling high cost of food because most of the farmers in the north are now living in internally displaced persons IDP camps. Varilaris said for the first time in his history, a bag of maize has gone over 30,000 naira because farmers cannot access their farms again due to increase in banditry, kidnapping and terrorism. The high cost of farm produce, I quote, in the nation is because of insecurity. Most farmers are in the internally displaced persons camp. There are no farmers in their places to produce all this food. That is why the price of food item is high. Since I was born, this is my first time seeing that a bag of corn is above 30,000 naira and corn is not available for people to buy. A bag of soya beans is sold for over 40,000 naira. It is very strange. Farm inputs such as fertilizer and chemicals are very expensive and farmers cannot afford them. End of quote. For Femi Adebioye, the president of Igogo Agro Park Investors Association, to reduce the price of food in the market, there is a need to increase investment in agriculture, which will tackle down to all the value chain of agricultural commodities. For more of the story, turn to page 13 of the Nigerian Tribune. High cost of food. Most farmers now in IDPs can't go to farm.
Page 12 of the Punch newspaper. APC picks January 27 for Ekiti governorship primary. Ahead of Ekiti State governorship elections slated for June 18, 2022, the All Progressive Congress has scheduled its primary election for January 27, 2022. This is according to a statement signed by the party national secretary caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, John Akpano Edehe, Title reversed the APC timetable. Ekiti State Governorship primary election on January 27th. The statement read, and I quote, in accordance with provision of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended and Independent National Electoral Commission guidelines, the All Progressive Congress has released a revised timetable and schedule of activities for the conduct of 2022 governorship primary election in Ekiti State. INEC has fixed June 18, 2022 for the Ekiti governorship election. You can read further on page 12 of today's Punch newspaper.
And from page 23 of the Nigerian Tribune, we will reconcile genuine aggrieved members in Kwara APC Adamu. The Senator Abdullahi Adamu-led National Reconciliation Committee of All Progressive Congress across Kwara State on Mondays, saying it has a mandate to listen to and reconcile all the sides in the family feud within the state chapter of the APC. Speaking during a courtesy visit to Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, Adamu said it will meet first with the aggrieved members of the party and then listen to the party executives, stakeholders and leaders and elders led by the governor in order to strike a balance and reconcile them. We will reconcile genuine aggrieved members in Kwara APC Adamu, page 23 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Still on page 12 of the Punch newspaper, Car Council rubbishes zoning, begin consultation on 2023 presidential bill. A former governor of Kano State, Rabika Council, says he is considering succeeding the president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired in the next presidential election in 2023 on the platform of the People Democratic Party. This is just as the publisher of the Vision International and the Boss magazine, Daily Momodu, on Monday declared his presidential ambition, also under the PDP. The former presidential spokesperson, Dr. Odoyin Okupe, had early in 2021 declared his ambition. While these men have yet to officially declare their presidential bid, other suspected aspirants in the PDP include former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Governors Aminu Tanwa Sokoto State, and Bala Mohammed, Bauchi State, among others. Kakanso were featuring on Sunday Politics, a current affair program on Channel Television, monitored by the correspondent on Sunday, dismissed the power rotation between the North and the South, as well as religious consideration for the President and the Vice President. You can read further on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. Kakanso rubbishes zoning, begin consultation on 2023 presidential bill.
On page 19 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have the story that says, corruption, greed behind building collapse in Nigeria. Akitide. Building collapse has been so rampant in Nigeria. The most recent being at Ikoyi, 21-story building collapse. What comes to your mind here? It is really sad that building collapse is becoming a recurrent decimal in the country, and this is mostly due to the selfishness, greed, and lack of seriousness on the part of both builders and the government. The regulators of the industry, the builders and the government are most often not doing many things right. Many Nigerians are too engrossed in cutting corners, and until we do away with such unpatriotic acts, we will continue to have issues with building collapse. The builder wants to use the material meant for one building to build 2 or 3 houses. The government officers who are to supervise and inspect the quality of materials to be used are not ready to go to the site to inspect them once the builder are ready to settle them. There had been cases of building approval done in the offices with the officials charged with such responsibilities merely relying on the information supplied by the builders. For the rest of that story, turn to page 19 of the Nigerian Tribune. Corruption, greed behind building collapse in Nigeria. Akintude.
And on sport page, I have a Guava versus selection headache. Ahead nation cup opener. Super Eagles interim coach Austin Igweven faces a tough task picking who led his attack when the Eagles kick off their journey for a 4th African Cup of Nations title when they play Egypt on Tuesday. Group D game at the state Randall Ajia Stadium, Groovia, the Punch report. The Nigeria government is also torn between starting the game with the in and out striker or deploy a first 9 against the Pharaohs, the correspondent. Get the rest of that sports story on page 31 of the Punch newspaper.
For my own sports story, on the back page of the Nigerian Tribune, it says, AFCON opener, Pharaohs are beatable, Iguavan. Super Eagles interim coach, Austin Iguavan, believes the Pharaohs are beatable. He said, and I quote, I look forward to an interesting game between two ambitious teams. As I said a couple of weeks ago, we will take it one match at a time. For now, we see the clash with Egypt, and all our plan is how to earn the 3 points. The Egyptians are a strong team, and we will come with a lot of confidence and steam, but we will also be going to the field with a lot of confidence and steam. It is going to be an interesting evening. End of quote. For the rest of that story, turn to the back page of the Nigerian Tribune. AFCON opener, Pharaohs are beatable, Iguavan.
And before we draw the curtain of today's edition of the newspaper report, we specially congratulate the management, the entire crew, especially the technical crew, the presenters, the newscaster of Aloore Radio. This station clock a year today, and we give glory to God. We pray that we'll continue to work stronger. Congratulations to the entire team. What do you have for us?
A big congratulations to Aloore Radio crew, the entire management, and every one of us that is so important to Aloore Radio. We say a big thank you to all our listeners there. Because of you, we are here. Thank you so very much. So link on Facebook, we have www.facebook.com/AlooreRadio.com. You can also link on YouTube at Aloore Radio. Our website remains www.AlooreRadio.com. Mobile apps available on Play Store. Thanks for listening. My name remains Olukemi Omotosho.
And I'm Temitope Ojawo. Enjoy the rest of the day.
orin ńlá oníkásùn kájì kánà pàpà káfíń kánà kásọmọ́ra kálálùgbò jẹ́sẹ́nu sẹ́tìrì lọ́nà fún oore ọ̀fẹ́ ni kéèyàn wà lábarapá láìsòjòjò oore ọ̀fẹ́ ńlá oore gidi ni àgàgà kéèyàn ogun àkàbà àkàsùn ẹ̀mí látọjọ́ ìbí títí di ọdún méjìdínlọ́gọ́ta fún gbogbo ẹ̀ bá mọ̀ọ́rẹ́ tó sì mọ̀ pẹ́ dú ìdígan rèé Alhaji Honourable Wasiu Ajani Adéwálé Ọlátúbọ̀sún ọmọ ìyá alágbo tá a fi ń bọ́ dúpẹ́ ọjọ́ òbí rẹ̀ tó kò láàyè tó pín ẹni ọdún méjìdínlọ́gọ́ta 58 years ìgbà ọdún láyé ní ọ́fíìsì ọjọ́ tá a bí ọ Ọlátúbọ̀sún ó ṣe pàtàkì ọjọ́ ṣe lógo ẹni tí yóò rógo lò tí ò ní kú dọ́jọ́ ògo ẹ̀ Honourable Wasiu Ọlátúbọ̀sún happy birthday to you ọ̀nà ọpẹ́ rẹ pọ̀ Ọlátúbọ̀sún ayé ọ̀fẹ́ gbà fún ọ lóúnjẹ ó bùnrin táwọn ẹ̀wọ̀n ààyè tó tọ́lẹ́lẹ́dà rẹ̀ ń gbé ọ sí Ọlátúbọ̀sún ọkùnrin takuntakun bí akọ olúmọdí ọkùnrin gbàngbàrà bí erin yagbóyajù lọ́dàn ẹ̀mí rẹ̀ ogun ìwọ́n tó ogun àkàbà ọdún kejìdínlọ́gọ́ta ogun púpọ̀ lọ́dún Wasiu Ọlátúbọ̀sún olóṣèlú àìsẹ̀tàn tí kì í bálágà bàǹgẹ̀bẹ̀ṣe nígbà tó jẹ́ pé ìran akọni ìṣàgà bàǹgẹ̀bẹ̀ ọ̀mọ̀wé Wasiu Ọlátúbọ̀sún olùkọ́ni Wasiu Ọlátúbọ̀sún olóṣèlú tòótọ́ Wasiu Ọlátúbọ̀sún àkànkò alákàkì ńbàdàn ọ̀sálága àjọba àbílẹ̀ ìbàdàn north west kò búrú ó ṣe talábòjútó ó fi wà àìtàkùrẹ̀wẹ̀sì lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ di kọmíṣánná fọ́rọ̀ àṣà ìròyìn àtìrìnàjò afẹ́ Honourable Wasiu Ọlátúbọ̀sún o tá a bí lọ́jọ́ kọkànlá oṣù kínní ọdún 1964 sílé olóògbé Alhaji Raufu Ọlátúbọ̀sún nílé ìbíkúlé láyẹyẹ ìlú ìbàdàn Wasiu Ọlátúbọ̀sún ìwọ náà kọ́ Olódùmarè ọba ni mélòó láwàkà lọ́rọ̀ rẹ̀ Ọlátúbọ̀sún o ṣebí